So it means more. Like Wayne Gretzky gave us 45 minutes backstage one time.
Wow.
So when you actually get some real time, not just like, hey, nice to meet you and move on, it means a lot. Well, somebody said to us once, what was better, meeting the Queen or the King with Wayne Gretzky, whatever, right? And we said, well, obviously meeting the Queen was awesome.
Can't disrespect the Queen, but yeah.
Oh man, and it made our mom. It made our mom very proud. It was one of the, greatest moments of our life. Our mom is very Irish and Scottish, and she does love the Queen and all that. So that was like a moment that we'd really accomplished something. Like, I can't remember the name of the band, but it was a big band like the Goo Goo Dolls or something. They said their parents finally acknowledged their career when they got to meet the president.
Wow.
And so it was kind of like that, that was a really good moment for us. So like,
I feel like the Queen would be a Canada Day event. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So Canada Day in Ottawa is a big deal. There's like, not during COVID time. So normally there's like 300,000 people walking the streets, and they have like Nickelback playing, Sarah McLachlan. They have the biggest Canadian bands in the world. And my uncle works for the government, and he's on the arts side, and he used to help organize. And I believe he had a hand in organizing that year with the Queen. And I have another friend who is a bass player in my band back in the day. His dad is at the top of the RCMP, and I believe he was the guy that walked her out. So I have a few inside connects with that year with the Queen at Canada Day, Parliament Hill.
Well, that was amazing because they said there was 80,000 people in the park, and then as the camera crews and the news, it somehow became 130,000. It just came bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But Sand embarked on us at the Red Barn Theater. We used to do this thing every year for literacy. And Peter Zwoski, that was the editor of Maclean's magazine, he had the Morningside Radio on CBC. He was a great guy, and he had the voice and the scruffy beard, and he passed away a few years ago there, and Canada just all embraced him when they had great things to say. So he'd do this thing at the Red Barn, and he'd get all the CBC people and bands and stuff to donate their time. So we were on that card 2 or 3 times, and like Sandy said, Great Big Sea and Jan Arden and Blue Rodeo and Tommy Hunter, great people. And the whole attraction to this event is people pay like $100 a ticket. They see a good show, but then afterwards, Molson gives some free beer, and they can and the stars drink for free. How many times do the average people get to drink with all these different people? So we were on the card, and we've done a lot of shows with the Bare Naked Ladies, and they're fabulous guys. Never really talked to Stephen Page. I don't know what his deal is and whatever else, but he was there that year, and he was having a bad day. He was miserable, and the band was talking to people, and he was just kind of out there because he had to be, kind of thing, right? And these little old ladies come up, and they're like, "Oh my God, Martha, get the camera. This is, oh my God, I love you. Can we get a picture with you?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, whatever," right? So they post the picture, and they take the picture, and the lady goes, "Oh my God, Drew Carey, you're the funniest man ever." And the rest of the Bare Naked Ladies
so bad.
Are like,
I get it though. I get it. There is a similarity.
We've been like, one time, Sandy, when he was thinner and younger, he had a baseball cap on, and they're interviewing him in I don't know, Moncton, New Brunswick or someplace, global television, and it says on the bottom of the television screen, "This is not Garth Brooks." And back when I had the long hair, I was on an interview one time, and they put underneath it says, "This is not a heavy set Kurt Cobain," because I had the long hair back then. I was lighter, but
here the good side of that is those are 2 handsome fellas. I'm just saying, right? Yeah, if they're gonna mix you up with people, it might as well be some really handsome.
I think I'd rather be Garth Brooks though than Kurt Cobain.
Well, in Kurt Cobain's, I mean, besides the fact that he killed himself, but when we're talking about his looks, I mentioned this on another episode. My sister growing up had a poster of Kurt Cobain. That was like her heartthrob, as a kid, that's who she loved. So he's got to be kind of handsome,
Well, it's kind of tough with the I don't know, but Garth Brooks is supposed to be a great guy in real life. From what we've heard, I don't know about.
He seems like my kind of guy.
But he is supposed to. Yeah, he's supposed to be. We've heard stories of him taking his whole crew out for playing video games, and
pizza.
lunches, and so we've heard he's a really good guy. And for us, that goes a long ways. When we find out that we like somebody, then I think that goes a long ways. It's very disappointing when you do meet somebody, which we've been pretty lucky, but like you said before about meeting your heroes, it's like let me try to think. There was one night we were at a big event, and we good friend of us introduced us also as a hockey guy and want to take a picture. He didn't care to meet us. His head was on a swivel. He was too good for us, And so then the next day when we were playing the big event, and then he sees we're on the actually card. The night before he didn't know anything about us, but the next day when he sees us, talking to other important people, and so he comes by and we took a picture with him, and Rob kind of dismissed him. Then the next day where it's like, oh, well, thanks. That was really disappointing though, to meet this guy who I thought, this guy would be a good guy and
blue collar,
and that was kind of disappointing. Like we have stories of
fans. It is tough. I mean, sometimes it's just that they're not great people or not very kind. Sometimes, life on the road, sometimes you maybe catch them on the wrong day, right? With little sleep or they're going through a breakup, or you never know what it is.
Fortunately for this situation, where I won't paint a bad picture about hockey and this and that, but as you know, if you watch some of the documentaries, then they get talking about how cocaine was running wild in the 90s, and Bob Probert and everybody was doing it. We were at this party, and Sam goes to me, "Who's that guy over there? He's really familiar." And so I said, "I don't know who you're talking about." He points to Garber, and I'm like, "Geez, he is familiar, this and that." And then it dawned on us that he hangs out at a lot of the Briars and different stuff like that, and he's kind of the party supply guy, right? And party planner, which is called that.
Which the party planner can be very
a lucrative career.
One thing I will say about us, which is another thing that might surprise people, but Rob and I have never even tried weed. So we've drank and we've whatever else, but there's been no drugs absolutely whatsoever at all.
My dogs are on weed.
Yeah, your dogs are on the CBD now, but you never know if the joints get bad down the road for medicinal purposes. But we've actually been, we've hung out with some wild characters, and yet we've never went down that road. Sometimes people won't believe it. I said, listen, man, look what happened when I found cake. I don't need to be, it's supposed to give you the munchies. That's the last thing I need,
Do you think that might be part of the secret to your success for the longevity of you're running close to 25 years now as a band and as a career in the entertainment industry? Do you think that's a big part of it, is you never fell into the trap of the rock star drug scene?
Probably. Yeah.
That would be one of the things there too. Like a lot of times too, if you if you could say no and whatever else, then sometimes people respect you. The guy that doesn't, and there's so many people over the years we've tried to teach, we've had some guys come in the band that, still live with their mom, and you warn them and stuff. It's like, listen, when shooters come to the stage, there sometimes they'll present you with the bill afterwards and stuff, and don't think that this is free and stuff like that. There's a lot of people setting you up and stuff like that.
And you have to be careful that somebody doesn't spike your drink too, because you get something handed from you for somebody you don't know. And this happened to a friend of ours one night, and then
I wouldn't go that far to call him a friend.
But I'm thinking of a different story. And then the guy in the crowd was going like this to him, and got his mind spinning, thinking, "Oh my God, what did this guy do to me?" And he made it through the show. And then another guy that was in our band one time, he kind of went down on the stage, and we thought at first he just tripped and it was kind of funny and whatever. He put a hole through Steve Gore's a guitar about that big actually. And anyhow, we thought maybe his drink had been spiked or something then, when everything came around. And you have to be careful. You just don't know. You're there, and we're there 2 nights in a row, and maybe some guy's jealous because he's getting more attention or something. I don't know. And you just never know. But I think there's been guys in the business that have made the mistake too. That's like, oh yeah, I got to be cool. I got to jump on board and do this to prove that I'm cool. And other people have said about us too. It's like they know they can take us on Canada Tourism. They can take us to all these different places because we're not gonna be a problem. We can pretend to be wild if that's what needs to be done, and we do like to drink and whatever, but we can also be responsible. And it is a business. And I think it nowadays, that's very important nowadays.
Gone are the days of Billy Idol driving his motorcycle through the lobby of the Riot Hotel and stuff like that.
Ozzy biting the head off the bat, and all those things,
stuff like that. And there's some wild Alice Cooper stories too, and Ted Nugent that I don't necessarily believe, but you never know.